Still on the topic of gambling, the independent candidate for the seat of Bean has written to the incumbent member for Bean, David Smith, ahead of the Federal Labor Conference, which is now underway in Adelaide. Now, Jessie Price, the independent candidate that almost unseated David Smith at the last election, rendering the seat of Bean as the most marginal Labor seat in Australia now. She's written a letter to David saying, well, while you're at the national conference, maybe you could represent the wishes of the people and push for some more significant gambling reform. Jessie Price joins me now. Good afternoon.
Hi, Leon.
Thanks for joining us today. So what exactly have you called on David Smith to do at the Labor Party conference this week?
I wrote to him to just say we've had hundreds of signatories to our petition calling for the Labor to back their own Murphy review and its recommendations, and to please speak up for us. You know, as a marginal Labor seat in Adelaide, that our voices should hold weight in helping to sway Labor policy, because they want to keep us on side. You know, we're important to them. And one of the big ones that we have heard out and about in Bean, and also with the response, like the really positive response to our petition, is for those three really headline elements out of the Murphy review, which is to immediately introduce and pass legislation for a total phased ban on all gambling advertising everywhere that it is. When you open TikTok, it's there. When you're on radio, when you go on YouTube, it's not just on TV. An immediate ban on gambling inducements. I've heard stories of people who are doing their best to help to manage their own gambling addiction, and it is an addiction, it's a health issue, and doing their best. And then they get sent emails with free money, quote unquote, to place some more bets, even though they're trying their best not to. So there's these inducements to keep on gambling. And the third thing is the establishment of an independent national regulator to enforce the regulations without any loopholes. So I did see that Labor has been discussing it this morning. It has been coming up a lot over in Adelaide, and I hope that that letter has had an impact in the sense of taking the voice of Bean there as well to have an impact in this issue.
I don't know David Smith's position on this matter, but I do know that there's quite a few Labor backbenchers in particular that feel very strongly that more should have been done than was done in response to the Murphy review. And it's a simmering issue within the Labor Party, apparently.
It is, and you know, this is where we see them come together and discuss the issues that are important to everybody's different electorates, and you see how strong your MP might be in those debates within the party. And I hope that Bean's voice is represented strongly there, because it is an issue. We see kids kids are associating sport with gambling now, and then even there's been some things that I've read where kids are actually going to gambling first, and then it's like, oh, what can we bet on? Or we'll use sport as the thing we can place bets on. So it's really becoming so normalised. It's very different to when I grew up. It really is everywhere now, and we can't let that happen. Australia led the way in public health. Like, we were world leading with tobacco and standing up to that very powerful industry. And this is the next example of another really powerful industry that is literally causing harm to Australian people and Australian children and families and communities. And we've got to stop it, and we want our government to do that.
You talk about things are different from when you grew up. When I grew up, there were no smartphones. There was bookies at the racetrack, of course, and there was the TAB. And you'd go past the TAB every Saturday, and it'd be packed full of blokes, usually, all smoking cigarettes and placing bets on the TAB. That was about the extent of it back in the day. It's certainly a different world now, isn't it?
Agreed, exactly that. So it used to be kind of contained and around certain things, and you had to go there to be able to do it. Now you're just sitting on your sofa. Not only do you have to not even go and find it on your phone, it's coming to you on your phone. It's popping up. When you open a new thing, it's right there as the first thing that pops up. And the partial legislation, the partial measures that Labor has been proposing, which is now facing a lot of opposition in the Senate and a lot of opposition from within the Labor Party, exactly as you said, Leon, because it's not going far enough and it's not based on the evidence. One of the things is that there won't be ads before 8 p.m, but then there's loopholes for during the news, and that's a throwback to the lotto used to get announced during the news. So it just means, do you know kids that just stop any devices at 8 p.m, very young kids maybe, but it's just not the viewing patterns that people have in the real world. And this is where it's important to go to the evidence for policy. And we've got a really strong evidence-based review in the Murphy Review. And the recommendations work together. They work as a package. They're kind of interactive. And by doing parts of some of them, it's really taken the heart out of the reforms and the impact that they would have to actually reduce harm. And it's preventable. It's preventable harm, and we need to actually act to prevent it.
Jessie, thanks very much for your time today.
Pleasure. Thanks, Leon.
Thank you. Jessie Price, the independent candidate for Bean. On 2CC, it's 4:28. A news update is next.
Authorised by Jessie Price, Monash.